Welcome back to The Next Film. Today I am with Mercedes Bryce Morgan, a director with 4 features under her belt now. We are allowed to talk about her most recent one. Very exciting, the first podcast that she's allowed to talk about it. Kaet Might Die, a dark comedy that literally just wrapped 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being here because I know it's
of course.
very tiring. I'm sure you're still catching up on sleep.
Yeah, I'm still like, what is this world? I'm like, going into a coffee shop is weird.
Yeah, like living life again.
Yeah.
Where did you shoot? Like here? Or?
So we shot in Kentucky. But we shot Kentucky as New York because we still have a couple of days to shoot in New York.
Nice.
So yeah, gotta get those tax
I was like, how does Kentucky look for New York?
We shot a lot of it in sound stages.
Oh,
so,
cool.
You know, we have that, and then we go and shoot our last couple of days in New York, and that's how we're able to like thread it all
that's
together.
exactly what I'm doing with my next film.
That's what everyone's doing.
Yeah,
it's the times we live in.
You know, we want to shoot in LA, but sometimes with like indie films, there's just too much red tape.
Totally, it's like either you're super low budget and it makes sense to shoot in LA, or you're really big and like even the low in between doesn't make sense here.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I was just trying to figure out if I could shoot here, but talking to some friends that have shot here, they're like, unless you're going union and have more money than you're saying that you do, like,
yes,
you can't.
No,
like,
totally.
And I'm just so used to like, I'm from Ohio and I shot most of my stuff there, and it's just, I'm sure it's the same in Kentucky, that it's just like you have a a lot of ease. People are excited that you're shooting
people
there.
Are like, oh, you're shooting in our house.
Exactly.
And then they have someone shoot in their house and they're like, why did I say
Oh no.
They're like, they moved all of our stuff, even if everyone's very respectful as they should be, but it's just, it's a different world. Yeah.
I took over my grandma's house and she was so like, of course, sweetie. But then by the end of the night, she was like turning on the TV, trying to get like really loud and like make it obvious that she's like, you guys can go at any time.
Totally. People understand. They're like, oh yeah, like minimum like 50 people are going to come and like swarm your entire place and lift every single thing that's ever been placed.
This was like your biggest feature too, right? I heard on an interview. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to like, I do my research, so I don't want to double too much, that you've already talked about. But
no, totally. I mean, I haven't really talked about this feature at all yet. So
that's exciting. We get the like first in. Yeah. How was that?
I mean, it was great. Working with this cast has been so special. And
which we didn't say, Awkwafina,
Anthony Ramos, Ken Jeong, Jimmy Simpson, Sasha Mamet,
oh my goodness,
Ben Wang, and lots of other lovely
smokes,
people.
What a great ensemble.
Yeah, no, it was really amazing. And I think, I don't know, it just, a lot of working with actors is just having that trust, and just these people having this amazing body of work. There's so many trust that just already goes into that. And so it's just us getting to know each other and how each other work, and especially what we were doing was a surrealist dramedy. And so we got to do all types of fun, wacky stuff.
How do you get everyone like into that then? Like, did you have rehearsals or like time with them before you started shooting?
Totally. So we didn't have rehearsals that much. We had like a tiny bit, but it was more so read-throughs. And for me, even if I have a rehearsal, like I'm not someone who's like, we're going to go into months and do rehearsals, and totally respect whatever people's process are. But for me, it's just us learning how each other work. So it's learning what I can provide to them to do their best work, or they know how I work and how I shoot things. And so it's more so just getting to know each other, and we're like, great, got it, let's go.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's like, anytime I think about rehearsal, that's kind of what I'm looking for anyways. It's not like, let's rehearse the hell out of the scene. It's like, let's get comfortable with each other and be free and like figure out how we best collaborate.
Totally. Or even for this, it was a lot of the content. It's very absurdist. And so a big part of it was just, hey, play this in the most grounded way possible, because what you're saying is so ridiculous. You don't need to play it up.
Yeah.
It'll do it for you.
I love that.
And so even that, that's a 5-minute conversation that you go, okay, great, we're all on the same page now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How long was the shoot?
The shoot was very short.
Oh, really?
The whole shoot is 23 days of filming.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
so
short.
Crazy tight. But
Bone Lake, I heard, was short too, right?
Yeah, Bone Lake was 18 originally.
Oh my goodness.
And then exactly. And then we had it rain on the last day. We had to pick up days in LA.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of this indie world where it just takes a ton of prep. Like, for example, with this movie, we'd been working on for 3.5 years before we shot it. And so I had the whole thing shot listed more than a year before we shot the movie. And so I'm like, I know what we're doing. We come in, obviously I work with my DP, Nick Matthews, and we go.
And it's your same
and
DP.
I bring in his ideas because I'm like, great, please have a better idea than mine. That's great. But once we get there, we're like, we know exactly what we're doing. So we're never on set being like, what's the next thing we're going to do? We're like, okay, great, got that. Next.
Yeah.
Going on.
Hell yeah. I love that. And then, because I did hear in one of your interviews that you actually were on this movie when you got Bone Lake.
Yes.
Like you had been having this.
Exactly. I pitched it before when I did a whole other movie in between.
That's
and
crazy.
Well, that's kind of how all my movies have been.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I think that's kind of how I've done so many all in a row is I kind of look at it like the stock market where you're like, but with my babies, you know? So I'm like, here's all my babies.
Yeah.
We're going to see which one flies first.
I mean,
and then you
have to
go with it because it takes a lot.
Yeah. Well, because if Fixation was your first feature, and
and Spoonful of Sugar was supposed to be my first feature.
Oh,
which is
okay.
funny. That's why it's actually smaller than Fixation. But they both got greenlit on the same day. And then Fixation was able to go because of COVID, and Spoonful couldn't because of COVID, ironically.
Snap.
And so that's why they
Why, just because like production size or story?
So for Fixation, it's because the financiers had another movie going, but it was with older actors in a different country. And they're like, oh, we can't do this. But they're like, but we already have this money raised. And we want to do a movie now. Are you guys ready to go? And we're like, of course we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And then with Spoonful, it's because it was a very tiny budget. And so we're like, we can't afford all the COVID costs.
Right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah. That was a lot of costs. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's been so nice doing movies where everyone can see my face so they know what I'm thinking and feeling while I'm directing them. It's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It kind of like, I don't know if it's just like I erased that from, because my first feature we shot during COVID, although we had such a skeleton crew. It was like 7 to 11 people, except for maybe one day. But I just completely, I think, like wiped my memory from all the COVID stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, we've all went through that. And we're like, okay, know how to do that now. I don't know if we're going to have to use that knowledge again. Let's hope not. Yeah. But now we know.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to want to, like, I want to dig into like the lessons that you've learned across 4 features, because I'm sure it just constantly is building upon.
Yes.
But this last feature is like the first one that's not in the usual genre you do, right?
So I've done all horror thrillers, and this is the first one that isn't. But the reason why it's me is because it's still very lifted. So basically what it's about this. It's based on this book, this autobiography of this young woman, Kaet, who gets breast cancer, and it kind of tears apart her life. And she's like, I still need to run the New York Marathon, and I'm production designing this movie. But we do it in a very surrealist lens. So, for example, she starts seeing boobs everywhere, and all of a sudden there's boobs chasing her down the street. And she has to run away from them. Or she has a conversation with this doctor of, imagine there's 100 of you. 20 could die this way, 10 could die this way. And as we're running, we see, 20 Awkwafinas die this way, and 10 die this way. And so we're doing it in this really, like, quote unquote, genre lifted sense. And so that's like why elevated. It made sense for me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love that. How did this come across? Like, I mean, I know you have reps now, so I'm sure like...
This was one of the first... Well, actually, Bone Lake was the first movie. This, actually, because this came before Bone Lake, this and Bone Lake, my reps sent to me. Okay. And I pitched on both of them.
And then your first 2 features, those were...
So my first feature, Fixation, was something that... one of the producers, Katrina Kudlick, she connected me with the writer, and she said, hey, let's all develop a story together, and he'll go write it, and then we can go make it.
Oh, cool.
And then the second one, I had the script sent to me because someone was like, this is super weird and very, I'm like, thank you. And so then with the writer, I had producers I worked with in the past, and I sent it to them. And so they connected us with Shudder, and then we made it.
So Shudder was on board to begin with. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always thought they came on at the tail end of stuff.
Totally. They picked it up, but also we did it with them from the beginning.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. How are because it sounds like people already knew your taste before you even started making movies. Where did you, I know you were doing music videos and things like that. Is that kind of where people knew? Basically,
I think it's probably also my personality.
Okay, cool.
I think when people are like, oh, this is, subversive, and is it afraid to be different? I don't know. I was voted the quote unquote most unique in my high school class, which could be viewed as an insult, but I'm also like, all right, that means I'm weird. That's great. That means I'm doing something right.
Who cares what high schoolers think?
Exactly.
So that's a great thing to
hundreds
take
of
into
people
the world.
think I'm most unique. I'm going to carry this with me.
Yeah. And I mean, look at you now. So
exactly.
It's done you well.
Exactly. But yeah, so I think it was people knowing that of me, and just also the types of short films that I did. So I did short films and music videos and commercials. But it's so funny because my music video commercial persona is actually almost very wholesome. Like the music video I'm known for the most, it's Happier by Bastille and Marshmello, and basically it's starring Miranda Cosgrove, and it's about this dog that she loves, and plot spoiler, but it's 3 minutes long. Her dog dies. And so it's funny because that's kind of what I'm known for in that world, whereas
it's very different.
Very different. And I love both.
Okay, cool. Do you see yourself getting into that genre eventually?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I love good stories, and I love to do things like in a visual lifted way. And so no matter what the story is, that's why whether it be a dramedy or something like that, I'm like, okay, as long as I'm telling it through my lens and I think it's a good story, then it's for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to dive into Bone Lake because I didn't even finish your bio, but Bone Lake was your third feature. I was just so excited to jump in. And it was technically independent, right?
Yeah.
I know LD
it was basically
Entertainment
like an
did it.
independent studio where like they are self-sufficient, they do all their own stuff, but they're completely independent. So like mini studio is the way
I know. I was like, I don't know what to call LD Entertainment, but it was still like, you know, not a crazy big budget, right?
No, I mean, it was very tight. The movie is almost 4 people in a house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Bleecker Street also distributed it.
Yeah.
And then it debuted to the top 10 on Netflix. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But I love how I just feel like it does so well at like being like campy, fun, erotic thriller, but also like grounded with good characters. And I love that they were like actors that we've never really seen before. Like I know that they have like a lot of work underneath them, but you know, technically not like the A-list stars that we're used to seeing in a lot of movies because they make us feel like that's like what's necessary these days to greenlight movies.
Yeah.
There's so many questions I want to dive into, but let's start with when you first got this, like how did you know like I can like do this, like in terms of that whole genre and balance?
When I first got sent it, I just kept reading it and I couldn't put it down. And that's how I kind of know. It's kind of when you look at actors' auditions or anything else, as a director and a filmmaker, you just kind of have to know what you feel. And so either you're feeling it or you're not. I'm like, is this eliciting an emotional response to me? And as I was reading the script, I go, oh my God, what the fuck? What is this? And so I go, okay, this is good. And as with the groundedness of it, I really love that blend of things that are happening that are really intense, but bringing these really amazing performances in ways that, you know, our protagonists would react as real people. And I think Ready or Not was a big come for that, of you have these grounded, great performances, but what they're doing is ridiculous. And so that's kind of what I wanted to bring into it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one also went really fast too, right? Like,
yes.
I mean, go ahead and talk about it.
So I got sent the script in January. I was at Sundance and they're like, hey, here you go. I go, okay, great. I'll read it over the next week, which is fast to read a script in the next week. And they're like, no, read it this weekend. They send it me on Friday, like read it by Monday. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm canceling the events that I'm going to and staying in and reading this. I loved it. And then I went and I met with them that week, and then that was end of January, and then we started shooting. We prepped in February, March, and shot in April.
Yeah, that's so fast for a turnaround.
Totally.
So what did the prep look like then? Did you just like start right away?
Yeah, so I started right away. So as soon as that happened, I went, okay, cool. I'm not talking to anybody for a week or two, because what I like to do when I prep is I want to just be able to think about it myself before I bring everyone else on. So like I do my own whole pass of the shot list. Cool. I break down every single department because especially when we have a movie with such a short schedule and just such a short prep schedule, I want to feel confident when I ask for something. If someone shows me a location, I know, yes, that could work, or no, that won't work. And I can't know that without doing my entire breakdown. And then after that, I'm able to have conversations with people and, you know, bring it to the next level. Yeah,
I love that. What prep were you given?
You mean like how much prep?
Yeah. Like how many days or weeks?
Yeah. I mean, I think we were given, was it like maybe, I think it was like probably like 4 weeks. And then I think I had like 2 to 3 weeks by myself before that.
Okay.
So,
but not a lot, not like on set and stuff and with your...
when we were actually, because we shot in Atlanta, I think we were actually in Atlanta like 3 weeks before we shot.
And then did I read something too that like the interiors were different than the exteriors?
No, they were actually the same.
It was all the same.
Sets into the house.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, here's this real place, and then we'll build it into there.
That's what it was that I've heard. Because there was that hallway that it's like the
exactly.
doors.
Like
and
no house just has a hallway with 3 perfectly weird doors awaiting you. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then how long does that type of stuff take?
Oh, I mean, I know it's just everyone being on their game and going really fast, right? I think it's just because
18 days.
Yeah,
is just like,
18 days. But stuff like that, I think that's what it is coming in and having answers to things.
Cool.
Where if you're on something bigger, you can go, you know what, I'm going to go think about that and ponder that. It's like, no, you have to make a decision now. Like, are we building this right now? And it's like, yes, go build it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just being really decisive, know what you need and like what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm assuming like it was kind of shot all over the place too.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was kind of in the order of what made sense for the rooms and what was going on. But so it wasn't in story order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I'm curious about like how people are prioritizing schedule, because I feel like since I'm an actor first and I tend to act in my things, like I always try to do from emotion, like catering to actors' emotions, but most of the time it's also actor schedule. But these actors you pretty much have for the whole time.
We have for the whole time, but it still ends up being like what makes sense for the house because we're shooting in such a short time. It's like we can't go in the living room, in the kitchen, and back to the living room, in the bedroom. But
and then you have to prioritize locations or, you know, props or things that you have those days.
Totally. But I would say that I think I used to think, okay, it would be so much nicer if we shot this in order, but things that I used to would have in the past been scared to start with. I'm not now. Like, for example, this most recent movie, we started the first scene of the day. It's like crying scene. All right. The biggest emotional scene of the movie. And if anything, the actors told me afterwards, they came up to me and said, Mercedes, that was so nice that we started with that because I would have been nervous to go and do that. And now that we got it out of the way, like we can do anything.
I love that. That's actually a really nice like perspective change.
Yeah.
Of like, let's kind of tackle the thing that we would usually have anxiety about and think about the whole time. And now it's like, you did it. You killed it.
You don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's obviously like a lesson you learned, but I think I heard you talk about in another interview too, which I was really curious to dig into, that you used to in the beginning like kind of feel like you were over planning or like over preparing, storyboarding everything, but you've actually learned that it's kind of constricting like actors and things like that.
Definitely.
And I thought that was interesting because it's like, oh, that's so true that you want to have room for the actors to like explore and give you something.
Exactly. Like the first couple of years of doing it, I would storyboard everything, and then after a while I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Everyone knows what a medium shot looks like. And I'm going to do rehearsals with the actors, and all of a sudden we go, they don't come in through this door. Like, that's so weird for them to come in through the door. Or someone might do something where we go, this is really static, and the scene is going to be boring if they just do this the entire time. And so you need to, good acting is reacting, right?
Yeah.
And being able to feel that in the moment. And so the way that I shot list now is I have a very, very detailed breakdown of any shots that I do that are out of the normal. Like if it's a one or if there's a transition or something else, and I'll also still block it out. So I'll have the blocking overhead. But if I have a medium shot, I'm like, master medium shot. And I'm not saying like where that is because everyone can feel that from the rehearsal, and that's why we do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then anything else in terms of like, are you, getting a little bit more detailed with the stunt sequences, or are you still waiting to have those conversations with the
very
coordinators?
Detailed.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of making previs. And again, on these schedules, I mean, even on bigger stuff, it's like it allows us to go do a better job. For example, on this last movie, we had this stunt sequence, and the way we were able to shoot it is we made a previs iPhone video, and that we could have 2 units going at the same time. So I'm like, everyone's looking at the video. You know where this connects, what side of the frame they're entering, what side they're exiting, and that way we can shoot the exact same scene at the same time.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of actually leads into a different question that was down the line, but you had talked about doing inserts like after.
Yes.
Which I've never heard that before. And I was like, oh, that's fascinating, of like saving time on set.
Oh, that's been one of the biggest learnings for me.
When did you learn that trick?
Until my grave. I think I learned it just kind of being on set, and when you have these tight schedules, you go, oh my God, every single day you have to cut something, right? And you should plan for your day, but you should have aspirations to do even more than what is realistic with your schedule. And sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. And so I started thinking, okay, well, why don't I cut this insert shot of this hand and shoot it later?
Yeah.
And so once I did that once and it worked out, I'm like, no, I'm never not doing this. And literally the movie that I'm editing right now, we owe all these inserts, and it's great because in the edit I get to see what we need more of or we don't. And so it almost acts as a pickup shoot to even shoot more things. Like, for example, we're editing this one scene and the character is putting something in her backpack and getting on a phone call. And we go, oh my God, it took so long for her to put her binder in her backpack. So we're like, great, just add it to the insert day. Like she puts the binder in her backpack and we get to cut 30 seconds out of the scene.
There you go.
And so because we're doing that later and planning, it doesn't cost us anything more, but we know exactly what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of what I had learned from my, like one of my shorts actually that I used on my first feature was having a pickup shoot. And that's something that I'm doing now is like always having pickup days because, and like I usually, it's like for a reason, like, you know, LA exteriors for the film, but it's like, no, but I have extra days in those in case, you know, in the edit we see there's these little inserts that we need or there's, so I guess that is kind of the similar, but I've never thought about it as specifically like, you know, inserts that you think you can't do outside of that day. A lot of times you can.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. And, you know, there's specific things where you need to have the full room and the space and the actors there. But most of the time when it's an insert, you don't. And if you think about it, you go, okay, it costs so many thousands of dollars every minute that you're shooting with these big actors. And like, why would I spend, like, if you think about it, you're like, okay, great. An hour of OT is minimum, you know, like $7,000 minimum.
Well, especially when you have like a big ensemble.
Yeah,
big names
yeah. And I go, why am I paying
Yeah.
thousands of, like, if you think about it like that and you think, okay, I'm getting an insert shot, I'm like, why are we paying $3,000 to get this hand insert shot? Whereas you could spend $2,000 to go do it a day in LA and you bring your people and you go do it in someone's apartment.
Yeah.
And
get
then
it done.
you get to do more of it. And
Yeah.
you get to do a better job at it.
I love that. It's also kind of like a little bit of a producer's mindset.
Yeah, but I think that good indie filmmaking, I think you have to think like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Not so much that you don't have time to direct, but enough that you are able to barter for yourself.
Right. Well, because now you're able to get what you want to get in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you planning then with that in mind? Like, do you still schedule those inserts, but know that you can get, or do you just not even bother scheduling them?
A lot of them, we just said, okay, we're not shooting them here.
Okay.
Or other ones, for example, something else we did on this that I also thought was extra great is we had this set that was built. And so we just had a couple people that we kept afterwards and we did OT with those people.
Oh, nice.
So we kept 6 people behind and we did 2 hours of inserts with them when we wrapped on
Nice.
Friday.
Instead of like keeping everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And then even ones beyond that, we go, okay, well, we got our 2 hours is up. We'll go shoot the rest in LA.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So going back to Bone Lake, how did it like, I don't want to say like how did it feel, but essentially like approaching the erotic thriller, which no one's really touched that much anymore. Like it's kind of a thing of like what the 90s and like early 2000s. Like did that excite you or was there like any fear going into that?
Totally. I don't think I had any fear, probably because I was raised in like a very sex positive household where I was allowed to watch movies that were sexual before I was allowed to watch horror movies.
Oh, okay.
My parents are like, this is scary, but they're like, okay, sex is a natural part of human life.
I love that. Let's go.
And so I don't even think that thought occurred to me that much to be nervous about it. I was just kind of like, oh, this is a genre of movies that I've loved and how cool that people are bringing it back. Because when I first started filmmaking, people told me, take sex out of your pitch decks. And then they're like, put it back in. I'm like, okay, great. I'll just put back in what I had before. Sounds good.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were doing anything different? I don't know. I just do feel like it was talked about a lot with Bone Lake of like, oh, this is an erotic thriller through the female lens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just if you're going to sexualize one gender, you have to sexualize all genders. So I'm like, either it's everybody or it's nobody.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
What did it look like in terms of like the practical, or I don't know if they were practical effects, but just like
they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that all go?
Yeah,
about
definitely.
Working with that.
I'm so picky when it comes to any movie, but specifically horror movies with the practical effects looking good, because we're at such a time in cinema that they can and should look good because there's wildly skilled people there. And I'm a fan of practical first and then, you know, have the effects kind of help it. Like, for example, not to give anything away, there's a shot.
I mean, it's been out some time. You should have seen
so
it by now.
You should have seen it. But there's a moment where someone has their face sliced by an axe and their jaw falls down. And so that was both practical and VFX.
Okay.
And so the way that it was is we had her face practically like this, and then we had green down below, and then they made the bottom part of her jaw.
Okay.
And so then we held it up so that VFX could see how the light plays on it to then go put that back in. And so it was practically making it so it looked good, but then having VFX fill in the rest of it.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by green though? Like literal, like...
Yeah, like little green, like on her
Okay,
face.
okay.
Yeah, because if her jaw is missing, then you have to paint that out.
Yeah. And then were you working with your VFX supervisor like on the day to figure that out, how to best? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the same one that you have in post, or?
No, I mean, sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, because a lot of times when we're shooting different places than they are, so just make sure that it's someone that they trust. And if they trust them, I'm like, great, I trust them too.
Cool. Can we also talk about the opening shot?
Yeah.
So fun. It's actually like got like that little opening scene or cold opening is kind of similar to my films.
Amazing.
So as soon as I watched it, I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
Love to hear that.
How did that what was the practical and,
Totally.
getting that shot like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, are you talking about the one where they like run over the puddle, or are you talking about the couple like laying down?
The what's it called? A bow and arrow.
The bow and arrow going through the walls. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
I'm like, there's a couple openings. Which one sticks out the most?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like that whole scene, but that one is like where I feel like, and I think it's kind of on the poster on some of them, right?
Yeah.
With the bow and arrow and the
totally.
cherries. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But no, I mean, that's something where I thought, okay, we're going to go for it. And that was
because I'm assuming it was in the script.
It's us just there sticking an arrow through, taking it out,
like a
prosthetic.
It through. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh yes, I just also want to know, like, what advice would you give to someone getting into this like genre space and like working with practical effects and genre elements for the first time?
Yeah. I would say test stuff. Like testing stuff is huge, because I think that a lot of times some producers understand how important it is, and other producers, it's a wildly big cost. It's like, for example, there's a body that gets a chainsaw through. I'm pretty sure that was like $20,000 or something. And so when you're on a small budget, that's huge.
Yeah.
But also that's what people are coming to see your movie for. And if it doesn't look good, that's what you've been building up to this entire time.
Yeah.
And so testing stuff so you can see it. But not only that is, don't look at people's iPhone pictures of how something looks. Go look at their past work in movies, because things look different when you're viewing it with lighting on it versus not.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing. And I've had stuff where people will put a certain prosthetics person towards me and I go, okay, they did this test. Maybe it's good. And then I'll go look at the past movie they did. And I'm like, they had to do VFX to blur their prosthetics. Like, why are they doing that? It means it didn't look good.
Interesting. And how do you like, you're just able to notice
I go
that?
vet it. Like I make them send me references, and I'll go on people's IMDb's and I'll hit up the people they didn't send me contact info for. Because a lot of times people put references of, oh, this person will say they're great. I'm like, well, what do the people say that they aren't?
Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. Yeah. Was that a lesson that you kind of learned the hard way?
I mean, yeah. I think that thankfully I've been able to prevent a lot of that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely something where once you hire someone on, like I am the people that I work with. Like as a director, you are managing people. It's not like a painter where you're the one that's putting the paint to the canvas. It's if someone does great prosthetics, then what I'm doing can be good. Or if an AD is able to actually deliver me the day that we say we're going to do, then the movie will be good.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just like with actors, it's like one of the most important parts of the process.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like working with the effects and like genre elements, when did you start? Like what got you comfortable?
I think even on my short films, I was kind of doing that, where for me, I love having all the elements come together. And so I go, okay, this is something where I can extra plan and be cinematic and know how they all come together.
Yeah. And then there was something too about the keeping the groundedness while still having like campy and fun. Is that something you feel like you're finding more with your actors, or is that just like also with the DP? Like where do you feel like you're really nailing the tone?
Yeah, I think I think everything kind of comes together to speak the tone, right? But I think that it starts with the actors, then it goes outward. So I could have an actor giving a grounded performance, but then the camera's going like this and it won't seem like that. And so I think it's all departments being synced at the same time to make sure you're telling the same story.
Yeah.
And make sure you're arcing that together. But for me, it's really 90% of my job is making sure I cast actors who are just doing great are the role. And I kind of look at it, my silly analogy is it's ice cream. So we're picking out flavors. It's like this person's vanilla and this person's strawberry, and they already are what they are, but then we're putting like toppings on it. And that's kind of what directing is like, okay, this time mourn her. Okay, this time provoke her. And that's my job. My job isn't to teach people how to act. It's to choose the flavors that go with that.
Yeah, I do think you were talking in another interview about just like the conversations that you're having with actors and making sure that it's like it's all coming from a certain motivation and like where what that person wants, or not person, but what that character wants and things like that.
Exactly. Like the second I start telling someone, move your arm like this, like no one can do that realistically. It's like, okay, why are you doing that? And so I think if everything comes from that, then it's easier to give a grounded performance.
Yeah. And then Bone Lake 2, the lighting was kind of shifting, right?
Yeah.
Why? Like, was that a choice that you made on your own?
Definitely.
Or with
the
your
DP and I made that together because we thought, okay, we want this to be this very idyllic summer looking thing. And then as it arcs, as the movie goes into different territory and as our genre even kind of changes, our lighting is telling people that that's happening. And so that way, when our antagonists, their performances are lifted and kind of ridiculous in the end, but our lighting is cueing, that's okay because it's our intention. Yeah.
Where did you find was there inspiration that you were taking from other movies, or was that like over time with your work that you kind of got comfortable with those types of decisions?
I think it was probably both. Okay. I think a lot of filmmaking is doing stuff and then you get into the edit with your past projects and you go, oh well, that didn't work, people didn't respond to that, or that worked great, or people want to make movies, they should just watch a lot of movies. And I think you kind of just inherently know the language.
And then Bone Lake has a big twist. How do you feel like you are making sure that like you are, planting enough that it feels earned, but obviously not giving away too much that it's, people don't guess it or see it coming?
A couple things. I'm a big person with my particular style because I am a multicam director and because I have a very fast editing style. I will shoot more dialogue than I know that we need. And so I will like safety us. Okay. So we went into Bone Lake. A lot of the scenes were a third longer than they are in the movie because I go, we don't know what people are going to need or not need. And some stuff hits different than you think it's going to when it's written. And so we had that, and that way we were able to play around in post. And then I also do a ton of test screenings. And so like I probably Zoomed 60 individuals before we even did like the bigger test screenings where we go to AMC and have strangers come in. But I had people tell me and go, when did you guess stuff? When did you not? There's some stuff where it's okay if you guess earlier, but you don't want to know the who, what, when, where, why all at once. So as long as you're guessing two of those, it's okay to know some of the other ones. And knowing, I think intention is a big thing too.
Where did you get the who, what, when, where, why part?
I think it's just doing a lot of thrillers. And I just realized, we always have to be asking some of these questions. And I think too is when I've done different movies of different genres, it's kind of doing like a massive study on that genre because you have basic screenplay structure, right? Where you're like, okay, first, second, and third. But if you look at slashers, you go at the midpoint, they always reveal backstory and they also kill someone off. And that is the structure of a slasher. And so I think it's just going through that. Yeah. It's just you learn these things to another level. Or for example, in thrillers, you have to have the characters ask the questions that the audience are asking. Like, is this a dream? Or they have to say their theory of what's happening. And if not, then the audience doesn't know what they should be questioning, or they don't feel like you have other ideas you should be planning for them. And so I think it's just going to those things. And sometimes in the edit, I'm like, oh man, we have to ADR in this thriller question. Not going to do that next time. So things like that.
Yeah. So is that something then you start to work with the writer with?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
If you don't have it there.
Exactly.
And then with the... because with Bone Lake, like, you start out with some scares and some fun and gore, and then we get like a lot of character development. But how are you making sure that you're keeping us with the genre? Because I do think you do. Yeah. But you're leading us to this like big finale.
Yeah, I think it's all about tension, right? It's like you can watch a PTA movie that's multiple hours long and it might not have classic story structure all the time, but it always has the tension of like there's sexual tension, or you're afraid someone's going to lose their job or their livelihood or literally their life. And so as long as you have that going, you can keep that going. And so
cool.
I think for us, it's okay. We have these people that we care about, so when all this stuff happens later, we'll really care. Whereas you can also watch a movie where people are exploding all the time. You're like, what? Whatever.
No, literally. Me and my friend, I won't say the name of the movie, but we were just watching a movie and we're like, they're, threatening to shoot these people. And we're like, okay, shoot them.
Yeah, we're like, fine.
Do it. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what did you learn going from your first feature, which... That one wasn't, the second feature was the ultra low budget though. So it is kind of like, you're jumping all around.
Totally. I mean, what was kind of weird with my second one being low budget is it almost felt like a very long short film.
Okay.
And it was, in a way, the reason why I say that is because my style, I have like a lot of interesting camera moves I like to bring and stuff with that. And because we had so much less resources, there wasn't as much to prep, because if you're so restricted in a way where you're like, well, we don't have Steadicam every day. I'm like, okay, well, that's like what this movie is. And so I think I actually learned more going to my third movie than my second, because I'm like, okay, we've done bigger stuff than this. How do we like become smaller again?
Yeah. Well, so going from
from fixation to spoonful of sugar.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Because you went big, and then it's like, how do we bring this back down?
Yeah, definitely.
Got it.
Yeah, and so I think it was more so going to Bone Lake, and then my most recent feature, Kaet Might Die, that I learned more of like, okay. But I'm trying to think. I feel like there's so many things that I learned.
Well, so because fixation it premiered, because that was the first one, right?
Yeah.
It premiered at TIFF in like 2022.
Yes, I think it was 2022.
Yeah, which is like, that's 4 features since 2022 is like incredible. So also congratulations. But that must be a lot too.
Yeah. No, it's great, but I'm someone who loves to work and I love to be on set. So,
yeah. But yeah, so going into Bone Lake, what do you feel like your core like takeaways from those first 2 features really led you to the success of that?
Definitely. I think that something I learned is that when you want to be with the characters, you shouldn't let the filmmaking distract from that in like a stylistic way. And so I think that something I learned is don't be afraid to ground itself and not be fancy, because then when that happens later, it means more to people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever watched an older movie where there's no close-ups in the entire movie, and then there's like one close-up at the very end. And you're like, wow, that meant so much. Whereas if you have it in the entire time, it's like this, and it's like, like it feels like you're on cocaine the entire time, then after a while it doesn't mean anything. And so I think what I learned from my first feature is, and this producer gave me notes, and it really stuck with me, is Mercedes. A movie is like a symphony. Like you need to start off small, and you need to have build and go down. And when I first made my first feature, the very first cut, I was so scared of being boring, where I'm like, if it's fast, that means it's not boring. And it's not true. And so I think it's just learning to trust that and know what actually makes something interesting versus boring or not. And like I got through that on like, we were really happy with our edit and we went to TIFF, but it's just having already learned that, I can come into features knowing that on set.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like going from Bone Lake to this next one, which was a budget jump in a way, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to talk numbers, but was it like double, triple? Like how big of a level up? Not at all.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's okay. I was just wondering in terms of scope.
Yeah.
But what takeaways from Bone Lake do you think made this last one work?
Definitely. I think working with actors, I learned a lot. And I already felt pretty good about working with actors on my movies, but I think I learned another level of how to do rehearsals well. Because I think that when you have these movies with these crazy schedules and you know how you're going to block the actors, sometimes it's easy to come in and go, okay, you know what, like, I know what I'm doing. Just tell everyone, this is your 1, this is your 2. We got it going on. But then it doesn't allow the actors to kind of be able to take it for their own. And I had an actor tell me from Bone Lake, he's like, Mercedes, like, even though what you say is probably what we're going to do in the end, he's like, I just want a second so that I can like arrive at like the same place. And so I learned from that. And so now I just carve out more time for rehearsals than I did in the past. Okay. Just for us to be able to like come to that together. So
like just on set, like right before?
Yeah, like on set. And so I'm like, even if we're rushed, I'm like, you don't rush rehearsal.
I like that. Yeah. That's cool to know. How do you feel like you, got your like footing with actors, because you were always a director, right?
Yeah,
which is also cool.
I have
feel
not
like
acted. I took some acting classes.
Oh, nice.
I took acting classes.
That's
I talked
the
to
advice everyone
Yeah,
gives.
exactly. It's the good thing to do. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine how you can do that without that.
Yeah.
But it's very simple things that are very important. You know, it's like using action verbs and using motivation and okay, how can we give this business? And so I think that actors see you when you speak their language. They go, oh, how nice is that? But then also it's little things of just talking to actors. Like something that I picked up a lot throughout the way is I ask actors different questions when I first meet with them, because I do, you know, when you're working with bigger actors, like you're not auditioning them. Like you're having a meeting, you're saying like, hey, how do we feel about each other? But I'll ask people, I go, okay, what was the experience that you had that was not good with a director? Like, what do you like? Like, what helps you do your best work? Like, do you like to know where the camera is? Do you not like to know where the camera is? And some actors will straight up tell me, they're like, hey, I want to be told that like I did a good job when I did a good job, because like sometimes I need to hear that and it makes me feel better. And other actors will be like, please do not placate me. Do not tell me that. They're like, be intense. Or they're like, direct me, which seems basic, but like, of course. And like, I think that sometimes people are scared when they're working with bigger talent than they worked before. They're like, oh no, it's like, no, your job is to direct them. Like, go do that. And so I think it's literally just listening to people. It's how people are good in relationships and friendships. It's like, ask people what they need and then give it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Did you have like a lot of people coming in and out since this was a bigger ensemble with bigger names?
Yeah, like we had where we would like shoot out certain people in a certain amount of time. So it's like, all right, we have the family. We're going to shoot the family out in a week.
Yeah. Was that the first time you've had to do that?
I was. Yeah. Yeah. But it was kind of nice because it just kind of like broke the movie into different sections.
Yeah.
That we were working at each time. So
yeah, that's how I'm kind of like looking at this next film. There's like, you know, someone comes in for like 3 days. This has 8 days, exactly. 2 days.
Yeah.
But it is kind of nice to have like little chunks. And is there like a routine or like the one thing that you kind of need as a director to make sure you're doing your best work, or like, you know, whether that's like before production or every morning?
Yeah, I think that I need, kind of like I was saying before, but like I need time to formulate my plan myself before everyone else comes in. So no matter what the prep time is, I need solo prep time. And then I think beyond that, it's less that I have a routine, because it's more so just every single waking moment is just living, breathing the film. Like I had someone in this last movie and they're like, hey, Mercedes, we're coming out of town. We're coming on set. Can you get dinner this weekend beforehand? I'm like, I don't know. I really want to, but I don't know if I have time. We're like, well, you got to eat. I'm like, you don't understand. For the last 3 months, I've not had a meal that I'm not eating through, like working through while I'm eating at the same time, because there's such little time. Yeah. So I think it's more so just having a space where I can do that 24/7, because I think that's what you have to do to make a good movie.
But like you enjoy doing that too. Yeah.
I enjoy it. Oh, it's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And just having people who are on board to do that with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's also true, is that like, because I'm also that way. It's like I'm ADHD hyper focused. So like once I'm in it, I'm in it. Yeah. But like you need people that like know that, or down with that. And like,
exactly.
Hopefully the people around you also understand.
Yeah. People who are down for that. And then people also say, you know what, like I need today to become a human again, and me going, for sure. Yeah. Like, thank you for saying that, because then you'll be able to come back and do this. Yeah.
And also sometimes I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. It's
no,
important.
I've had to learn that I need to drink water and at least eat something, because there has been days in the past where like I forgot to eat, and that sounds ridiculous, but it's like, no, it actually has happened.
Yeah, no, like thankfully I had an assistant on this one. Nice. And my DP literally told my assistant, he goes, she forgets to eat, so you just need to like put stuff on the camera cart for her. And I was like, oh my god, look at this vegan jerky that showed up, how nice is this? And it helped a lot. So it was more so even other people looking out.
Yeah, your me. DP. Yeah, no, I had a friend who was there to be like, you know, here's a protein bar. Yeah, like, thank you, because
thanks. Everything got easier. Look at that. Yeah.
So, and now going from this last feature, which we don't have to dive too much into it, but like, is there any lessons you think even from this past one that you are marinating on? I mean, it's only been 2 weeks.
I think because I'm going into post, I think I more so figure that out in post, because you kind of see what's working, what you have. Because in a way, it's funny because the shoot was so hard to put together, because it is worlds harder to put together something that isn't horror nowadays than is. And that's why it took longer than all my other movies, is because we had to attach value cast to make it go. Whereas a horror movie, you don't necessarily need to have that.
Yeah.
So if anything, it was the most wonderful, smoothest on-set experience, even though we were doing crazy things, a lot of 7-page days. But it felt like it went well. And I think it's just having all of these other experiences up to this. I'm like, done this before, done that. Like, it was never really doing anything for the first time. And so it just felt kind of good going into it. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then actually talking about the, like, you know, having to cast and stuff like that, like, what, I know you said it was like 3 years that it took to get this.
3.5, yeah.
Okay. To get it into production. And then when, like, did the casting even start? Like,
yeah, so the casting started from very early on, but it's because it was a big balancing act of, you know, sorry if I'm saying stuff people already know, but for people who don't know, like, quote unquote value, there's domestic value and there's international value, right? And so there's certain amount of value that actors have or not based on, like, the box office numbers they bring in. And so for us, it was a game of, we need to have these specific roles have value, and we need to have all of these big people available at the same time. And we need our financing to be available at the same time. And so it's a balancing act of, you get one person and then the other person is available, and then you finally get this person, and then this person you've been waiting 2 years and they can't do it anymore. And so it's like having all of those and then have all your financing happen at the same time. That's why it takes
a miracle.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is the one telling you these, like, you know, numbers and who works and who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, it's like basically like our producers put out a list of, they're like, hey, can we get value back on these names? And they come and tell us, and they're like,
from,
hey,
like, sales agents and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'm starting again now that I'm, like, going into, like, a bigger budget. It's like, we're definitely thinking about those things. I have, like, a consultant sales agent that I've worked with in the past that I'm like, what are we looking at here? Like, who moves the needle? Though I have been told by some people that, like, the horror genre space, it's a little less important.
It's a little less, but it's also because yes and no. And I think it's also because who you talk to is, it sometimes feels like everyone agrees on the same thing, and sometimes people don't. And so you'll talk to some person that goes, we will greenlit this $5 million movie with cast no one's ever heard of, and that doesn't matter. And someone else goes, we cannot make this movie even if it's horror unless we have that, because just different people have different rules on their money. Yeah. Right? Which is confusing. Yes. But that's why I think it can't hurt to have that no matter what, but it's not always necessary. But also because the market is so hard right now, that's why I think horror didn't used to have that, and some people need it.
Do you have a distributor on this film already to begin with, or did you?
So basically, like, our plan is we're going to take it to festivals and, like, kind of have it go from there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because it's very much so, again, because it's not horror, it's like a festival movie.
Definitely. And then, but you already have, like, the producers and everything who have ideas or have those connections to then figure that out later.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's, like, a more confident move you can make when you have 4 features under your belt and people bringing in financing. Because I'm assuming then they're going out and finding independent financing.
Totally. Yeah. Like, this was all independent financing.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, every movie I've done has been, it's what you define as independent, but basically all independent except for Shudder.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you had to, like, deal with that at all, or because you're the director you've been able to be a little hands off?
Yes and no at the same time. Like, it is other people going and doing that, but it becomes very involved of, you know, they're like, okay, this is what you can creatively do for this amount of money, and it affects the shoot. And if you make this decision, we can have more money this way. It's like, great, have this person hold this pasta sauce in the shot, and you have $25,000 more. I'm like, great,
I can do that.
We need that. So I would say in ways like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask if there's sometimes, depending on the film or story, if there's, like, you know, places in the budget that you might ask for a little bit more, or maybe try to, like, move things around. I started line
producing before I directed.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Like, when I went to USC, when I came out of it a little bit, like, that's how I funded my short films.
Oh, nice.
I did line producing. I'm like, that's how I made all my money. And I'm like, great. I put this money into living expenses and this money into shorts, and that's how I was able to do it. And then I kind of got to a point where I'm like, oh, I am making all my money off directing, and kind of just transferred to that.
Hell yeah. But that's probably, like, a useful background to have then.
Very useful. Yeah. That way I can know what I'm asking for and what things actually mean, because especially in indie space, it's like, you have to know. Again, you can barter with yourself and with other people, and you go, that doesn't make sense. You're bullshitting me or not.
Yeah, definitely. And then because you worked a lot in like music videos and you do commercials as well, do you feel like that informs any of your narrative choices?
Oh, a ton. I think that it taught me our jobs are weird because you can't really get experience unless you're getting experience with money, because making a small project where there's not a big crew or no money involved, like it's very different of knowing how to make your day versus having all these resources and managing all these people and departments. And so I feel like it kind of taught me that. It taught me how to make my days. It taught me what is time consuming, what isn't, what type of shots maybe work in your mind and aren't that good in the edit, and which ones you can't chop up and can. So I was kind of able to take that. And by the time I got to my first feature, I'd already had a lot of experience.
I love that. Yeah. Is there like anything in the edit, like off the cusp or off the top of your mind that you feel like, you know, doesn't work or like...
Yeah. I think that something that I'll purposely do is I will purposely, whenever we have a moving shot, I will mess up the continuity, and every single take we get, I'll have it like start at a different part of the scene because I know that when we go into post, we might remove a line or want something else. And if we go, oh my God, every single shot, they push in on the exact same line, we're like, we don't have it. Whereas if we go, oh my God, now I'm so glad that I just decided to start the push 10 seconds later. Wow. And then we can chop it differently.
See, those are like the little things that you learn along the way that I'm like,
fuck up your continuity. Do it. There is no point in having every single take be the same thing. Yeah. Because then why are you shooting it again? That's like a waste of time.
Yeah. No, that's so true. Yeah. It's those little things that I'm like, I those are the lessons I want to know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's something that I see a lot of newer filmmakers do as a mistake a lot, is they think, okay, I just have to keep doing the same thing every single time, and I need it to be perfect from the beginning to end of the take. It's like, unless you're doing a oneer, no, you don't. Because if you have the first part of take one is really good in the beginning and the last part of take two is really good in the end, then you use both of those, and then you need to get different stuff all the rest of the time. Yeah.
Were you ever an editor?
No, but I've sat with my editors for every single thing. So I get to see every single thing. And I think it's just doing tests. I think some people are scared to get notes, but I'll sit down with someone and I go, tell me everything you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. Yeah. And I think if you just provide that really open space and people are really honest with you, it allows you to get better.
Yeah. Do you do anonymous? Oh my God.
Anonymous? Yeah, when we've done like the actual like big expensive test screenings, so it's anonymous. But what I'll do before we do that, because that's very expensive, is I will do individuals and they're not anonymous, but I think it's just because I provide a space where people feel comfortable to actually tell me what they'll just actually share. Yeah because I 100%
agree. Like I do multiple test screenings like here, like in the theater where I'm sitting with them, but also like sending it to someone and like answering some sort of questionnaire.
Exactly. And it's funny because I've had friends who, you know, it's hard when you make a project, you put a lot of yourself into it, and sometimes if it's a short film, you're putting all your resources into it. And so I've had friends who ask me for notes on their short film, and then you give them notes and they start to get upset and they start to defend it. It's like, well, you didn't really want notes then.
Yeah, you wanted to like...
And I understand it feels personal, but then you shouldn't be asking for people for notes if you're doing that.
Right. No, it is like a learning, like you want to make this better is hopefully why you're asking for notes.
Yeah. Isn't that nice? Like, isn't that nice to be able to have the opportunity to make something even better than it was before?
Definitely. And even if it like, you know, hurts that night, because I usually give myself like 8 hours or, you know, one day to be like, and then it's like, okay, no, this actually is better.
Totally.
Let me sit with this and see what makes this better.
Exactly. Or I'll even tell people in the edit, I go, tell me anything. They're like, even if you don't think you can change it? I'm like, yeah, because I have 4 scenes that I'm not putting in the edit that I'm showing you that we could pull back in if we need to.
Oh, interesting.
Or we do pickups. I'm like, you don't know what I have or don't have. So like, tell me, and we might be able to just like fix it.
Very true. Yeah. Also, I think it's good to kind of know what people are saying before you put it out in the world.
Exactly.
Like, even if you can't change it, at least you kind of know what people might think or say and how to take it out into the world.
Definitely.
Well, Bone Lake was it the first feature that like really went out? Do you feel like?
Yeah. I mean, it's the one that's had the widest reach, so that like was that first type of experience.
How was that like?
It was cool.
Emotionally, and as a filmmaker and everything.
No, I love that question. I think it's really great because I think after that project, it was the first time in my career where I was getting direct offers because people were like, hey, I just happened to watch your movie and like, want to come make our movie?
Oh,
and so that's
nice.
That's a really cool experience. Or, you know, getting messages from strangers being like, this is awesome. Just like, yay, that's why we make movies. Is I want to make stuff that people enjoy. That's the whole point.
I love that. And I love that it was just like such a great experience too.
Yeah.
And then I had heard you talk about in an interview, not to keep referencing, but you had mentioned like a pre-pitch meeting when you go to pitch on a movie. And I thought that was so smart because, again, I felt like that was something no one talks about.
Yeah.
Or that you, like, I was like, you can ask for that.
Yeah, no, totally. Until I did, I'm like, of course you would ask for this. And what it is basically is whenever I go on a pitch, I always make sure to have a phone call with them before I go on the official pitch. So I'm like, I'm going to talk to the execs because a lot of time it's the execs talking to their boss and this person. And I go in and talk to them, or it's the same people. And I go, before I pitch, I go, what do you not want this movie to be? What do you want this movie to be? What have people brought you in the past that you don't like? Because first of all, it tells me if it's the type of movie I want to be doing. But also there might be something super small that they're like, this person said this and we don't want to do this type of movie. And I might be like, yeah, that's the silliest thing. Like, we don't need to do that. Or that's true. Like, it wouldn't work like that. Yeah. And so it just allows you to have that and come in with what will work.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Is there anything else that you feel like you're advocating for these days that you maybe weren't as comfortable in the beginning of your career?
I think there's a lot of difference of what projects are like, quote unquote, real or not. And so I think going in and asking, like, what financing do you actually have? What do you not? What unlocks your financing? Like, what does green light actually mean to you? Because there's so many different versions of what that is or isn't. And I think that's important for people to know going in.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so that's a question that you're asking as a director then?
Yeah. Like, I have my reps ask. I go, okay, this is like part of when you send me a project, like, this is part of like what should be provided in it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then so when are you coming on board now?
I mean, it depends. It depends on like the project, because I've had some projects brought to me and they have complete financing. They're like, great, as soon as you say yes, we're good to go. And then other ones that, you know, it's like, okay, we're going to come together and we're going to find cast, and then cast will be able to help us bring it to studios. So it really just depends.
Cool. Do you feel like if it was like something you like loved, you would just like jump on from the beginning?
Yeah,
and help?
Totally. If it's something I loved, I'm like, okay, we're going to attach every single part of it and go through it for years, and that's worth it.
Is that kind of what this one was?
Yes. Yeah, that is exactly what this one was, and it was worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be good. I'm excited to see it.
Thank you.
Even though, you still have to go into the edit and everything.
Totally.
And still get pickups right here in LA.
Yeah.
When did your reps come on in your career?
So my reps came on when I was pretty young, actually, because back when web series were a thing, I did this web series for MGM, and it was in the trades. And my girlfriend at the time she worked the front desk at CAA, and so she was friends with all these other assistants. And so she sent, the Deadline article and all this stuff to her assistant friends and like, hey, show this to your bosses. And so they did. And so I kind of ended up doing like, the water bottle meeting at all these different places. But it's cool. I think that my reps, I think maybe I've been with them for like 9 years or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they've been on your career since the first feature?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like somewhere in the middle and they...
No, they came with me. That's why it's like, because web series were such a thing back then. Yeah.
Is there anything that they do differently when you're going into like, your second movie that was like a lower budget?
Oh my
like
God,
these
yes.
bigger ones?
Yeah. No, I talk to people because it's such a thing where people are like, what are your reps doing? What are my reps doing? I think that something that people need to realize is your rep's job isn't to give you the stuff to make you pitchable. Like, you're a Pokemon that they're putting out there, right? And so you need to give them the stuff that they need to pitch you. So like, if your rep has something where they're like, I could submit Mercedes for this and I'm pretty sure they're going to choose her, they will. But if you don't have the credits yet, why would they do that? Because they know you're not going to get chosen. And so I think some people complain and they're like, my reps aren't doing anything for me. It's like, we haven't given them anything to do something for you with. And so it's very frustrating because that's a very hard thing to do, to build yourself up. But if you put yourself in their shoes, you would understand that. And so I think it's, once I started getting all these different movies under my belt and these different accolades, all of a sudden they're like, great, now we can pitch you on stuff. And so all of a sudden it's like, my projects are now being brought to me because my reps are bringing them to me.
Yeah. So would your advice then to those people be like, just keep making stuff?
Just keep making stuff. And it's annoying and people like hearing because they're like, making stuff is hard. And
but also, why else are you here?
Why else are you here?
Aren't we supposed to, like, the reps are just like the added bonus to like help you keep making stuff, really.
Exactly.
But like, I feel like no matter what, we just need to keep finding ways to make things, or even with reps, you know?
Exactly. And what I say to people too is like, the way I've been able to have success is when you have people who want the same things as you and are at the same level, like, you all amass all of your resources together. And that's how it happens. So like, if you have a producer Or even like my first feature got financed because the writer had the connections to the producers who had financial connections. And so if everyone's like, okay, we're going through this together. Like if you get your army behind you, that's how you do stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
How did you feel like your reps were the right person? Because I mean, you've had them for so long now, so that was a good choice.
Totally. I think that, I mean, first of all, I just talk to my reps a lot. Like I talk to my reps like multiple times a week.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think some people like don't. Like I have like a text thread with my like agent manager where we like group text each other.
Oh, like all together too.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
And so I think it's just things like that where I'm like, okay, that's right for me because I know that they care and are actually doing it. So that's a big part of it. And I think even just again for me, they're like, yeah, we understand why you're chasing this, or like, no, this isn't right for you. Things like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So my last question that I ask all my guests is, what advice would you give to someone making their next film?
I love it. It's such a broad question. Like there's so many ways to
It is such a broad
answer
question.
it.
But so next film and not first film.
Yeah. Next film, I think you should never assume that any process will be like the one you just had. I think that you can learn so many things, and we as humans should always take our past experiences and bring it onto the next, but it's not going to be the same again. It's kind of like, I think of movies like relationships where someone might be in a relationship but they're like, well, I learned I'm never going to do that again. I'm like, yeah, but this is a new person. So like you can't put your past trauma on this new person, but also maybe you will watch out for yourself and not choose this type of person this time. And so I think it's like learn, but then be open because it's a wild west out there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So we're going to be looking out for Kaet Might Die, but Bone Lake is still on Netflix to watch. And then there's also...
Spoonful of Sugar. And Fixation, sadly, has not come out to the world yet, but will.
Yeah, well, I heard that it didn't. There was like something about the release.
There was drama.
I heard you say on a podcast.
Yeah, we were at TIFF, and we had all of these offers, but we had a producer who did not want to take the offers. And so it has not yet been
I was like, I didn't know that detail. I just knew that like, there was something that happened and it couldn't get released is what I think I remember from the podcast episode.
But that's why someday it will see the world.
Okay. And you're just like waiting for like something like a time limit to run out, or you're just like hopefully it'll get out there?
Yeah, it will come out when the time is right.
Yeah, because that stars the same girl from Bone Lake, right?
Yep, Maddie Hassan.
Yeah, I was like, thank you, please remind me her name.
Yeah, totally.
she was so good.
No, she's amazing.
Yeah, she was incredible in Bone Lake. So I'm excited to see others.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. No, thanks for having me.
If you're enjoying the next film and want to help us keep making the show, we're now accepting tax-deductible donations through our partner, the Alliance of Women Directors. This helps us keep sharing honest conversation, insights, and practical tools free and accessible to artists. The link is in the show notes, or you can visit allianceofwomendirectors.org/fiscal-sponsorship. This episode is brought to you by executive producer Jeffrey Weber.